AITA for cheating on my boyfriend with my boss. During a rough patch, I'm a mess, and I need to know if I'm the worst person alive. I'm Emma, 28, and I've been with my boyfriend Liam for 2 years. We've had our ups and downs like any couple, but mostly we're happy. Or at least, we were. 6 months ago, I did something unforgivable. I cheated on Liam with my boss, James, during a rough patch in our relationship. I feel like an idiot, a traitor, and every day since has been a battle with my own guilt. I haven't told Liam, and I'm terrified he'll find out. So, AITA for cheating and keeping it a secret? Or was I just a broken person trying to hold on to something good? Liam and I met at a friend's board game night, bonding over our shared love for obscure indie bands and hiking trails. He's 29, a graphic designer with a quiet intensity that drew me in. His laugh, the way it crinkles his eyes, still makes my heart skip. We moved in together after a year, our apartment a cozy mix of his vinyl records and my houseplants. But relationships aren't all sunshine. 6 months ago, we hit a wall. I was swamped at my marketing coordinator job, working late, barely sleeping. Liam was frustrated, saying I wasn't present anymore. We'd bicker over stupid things, dishes, forgotten plans, and the silence between us grew heavier. I felt unloved, like I was failing him, and that insecurity gnawed at me. My boss, James, was the opposite of Liam in some ways. Mid-30s, charming, with a knack for making you feel like the only person in the room. He'd always been friendly, maybe too friendly, lingering after meetings to chat about my ideas or compliment my work. I'd laugh it off, flattered but careful. He was my boss, after all. But during that rough patch with Liam, James's attention felt like a lifeline. I'd catch myself smiling when he'd text about a project, my stomach fluttering at his "you're killing it" comments. I hated myself for it, but I craved the validation. It all came to a head at a work event, a launch party for a campaign I'd poured my heart into. Liam and I had fought that morning. He'd snapped about me missing his art show, and I'd yelled that he didn't get how stressed I was. I left for the party feeling raw, like an exposed nerve. The venue was all dim lights and clinking glasses, the air thick with perfume and ambition. I wore a green dress that hugged my curves, hoping to feel confident. James was there, in a sharp blazer, his smile disarming. He handed me a glass of wine, his fingers brushing mine, and said, "You look like you need this." I laughed, but my chest tightened. I should have walked away. We talked for hours, the conversation flowing too, easily. He asked about my life, really listened, and for the first time in weeks, I felt seen. The wine blurred my edges, and when he leaned closer, whispering a joke, I didn't pull back. Later, he suggested we grab air outside. The night was cool, the city humming around us. Standing by his car, he looked at me, his eyes searching, and before I could think, he kissed me. My mind screamed to stop, but my body didn't listen. I kissed him back, the guilt already pooling in my stomach. We ended up at his apartment, a sleek loft that smelled of cedar and leather. I don't remember much, just the weight of his hands, the softness of his bed, and the sickening realization as I lay there afterward, staring at the ceiling, that I'd betrayed the person I love most. The next morning, I slipped out before he woke, my head pounding, my heart in shreds. I stood in the shower for an hour, scrubbing my skin raw, as if I could wash away the mistake. I told myself it was a one-time thing, a drunken lapse. I'd never do it again. But the guilt clung to me, heavy and suffocating. I couldn't look Liam in the eye when I got home, his smile like a knife in my chest. I've been carrying this secret for 6 months, and it's eating me alive. AITA for what I did, or for hiding it to protect him. The weeks after that night, with James, were a blur of guilt and pretense. I threw myself into being the perfect girlfriend, cooking Liam's favorite pasta, planning movie nights, anything to drown out the voice in my head calling me a fraud. His touch, once comforting, now felt like a judgment. I'd catch myself staring at him, his dark hair falling over his forehead as he sketched, and think, he deserves better than me. But I couldn't confess. The words stuck in my throat, heavy as stones. Instead, I told Sarah, our mutual friend, hoping it would lighten the load. She was horrified, her eyes wide over coffee, whispering, "Emma, how could you?" I begged her to keep it secret, and she agreed, but her hugs grew stiff, her texts curt. I knew she was judging me, and I deserved it. At work, James acted like nothing happened, but his casual smiles and great job emails felt like landmines. I avoided him, sticking to group meetings, my stomach churning every time he lingered near my desk. The office smelled of stale, coffee and printer ink, a constant reminder of my mistake. I started overcompensating with Liam, buying him concert tickets, leaving sticky notes on his laptop. He noticed, chuckling. "What's with the love bombing, Em?" I forced a laugh, but my chest ached. Was I protecting him by staying silent, or just protecting myself? The question haunted me, keeping me up at night. The hum of our apartment's fridge my only company. Then a crack appeared. I was at a bar with Sarah and some friends, the air thick with cigarette smoke and laughter. I stepped away to grab drinks, and when I returned, I caught Sarah's voice, low and serious, saying, "Can't believe she'd betray him like that." My heart stopped. Was she talking about me? I froze, clutching the cold beer bottles, my palms sweaty. Back at the table, Sarah avoided my eyes, her smile tight. That night, I confronted her at her apartment, the city lights flickering through her window. "You're telling people?" I demanded, my voice shaking. She sighed, rubbing her temples. "I didn't say your name, Emma, 1821, but I'm struggling with this. You need to tell Liam." I begged her to stay quiet, tears streaming down my face. "It'll destroy him," I said. "It's destroying you," she shot back. Our friendship hasn't been the same since. I started noticing Liam's efforts to fix us. He planned a weekend getaway to a cabin, talking excitedly about stargazing and hiking, his eyes bright with hope. I nodded along, my throat tight, imagining the cozy cabin, the crackle of a fireplace, and me carrying this ugly secret. I wanted to be the woman he thought I was, but every time he kissed me, I saw James's face, felt the weight of that night. I told myself I could bury it, that love was enough. But the guilt was a splinter, festering deeper every day. Was I the asshole for thinking I could move past this without telling him? Or was I saving us both by keeping quiet? The breaking point came at work. I was grabbing files from the break room when I overheard James talking to a colleague, his voice casual. "Yeah, that launch party was wild. Got a little too close with someone, you know?" He laughed, and my blood ran cold. The room spun, the hum of the coffee machine deafening. He didn't say my name, but how long until someone connected the dots? I couldn't breathe, my hands trembling as I clutched the files. That night I lay awake, Liam's steady breathing beside me, and realized the secret wasn't safe. It was a ticking bomb, and I was running out of time. I had to act, confront. James, quit my job, something. But every option felt like a step closer to losing Liam. I'm drowning in my own choices, and I don't know if I'm the villain or just a fool who thought she could outrun her mistakes. The fear that James's careless comment could unravel, everything pushed me to a breaking point. I couldn't quit my job. Not yet. Not with rent and bills. But I had to stop him from talking. The next day, I cornered him after a meeting, the conference room still smelling of whiteboard markers. "We need to talk," I said, my voice low, my hands clenched. James raised an eyebrow, leaning against the table, his confidence infuriating. "About what, Emma?" he asked, like he didn't know. I swallowed, my throat dry. "That night. You can't talk about it. Ever." He studied me, then nodded, but his next words hit like a punch. "I thought you felt something too." I stared, stunned. He had feelings for me? The room felt too small, the air too thick. I mumbled, "It was a mistake," and left, my heart pounding. I started therapy, desperate for clarity. My therapist, a kind woman with glasses perched on her nose, listened as I spilled everything. The affair, the guilt, Sarah's distance, James's lingering gaze. She asked what I wanted, and I didn't know. To keep Liam? To be honest? To forgive myself? Every session left me raw, but I kept going, scribbling in a journal afterward, the ink smudging under my tears. Work became a minefield. James respected my request, but his eyes followed me, and I hated how my body still reacted. A flutter, a betrayal of itself. I avoided him, but the office gossip mill churned. A coworker asked, "You and James seem tense. Everything okay?" I forced a smile, my stomach twisting, and changed the subject. Liam's getaway plan loomed closer, and I couldn't shake the dread. He was trying so hard, packing our hiking gear, humming as he planned our route. I wanted to want it, to lose myself in his love, but the secret was a wall between us. One night, as we washed dishes, his hands covered in suds, he said, "I know things have been off, Em. This trip will help, right?" His hope was a knife. I nodded, my eyes burning, and excused myself to the bathroom, splashing cold water on, my face to hide the tears. I was lying to him every day, and it was killing me. Then the second Reviravolta hit. Sarah called, her voice shaky. "Emma, I didn't tell Liam, I swear, but he's asking questions." My heart sank. Liam had noticed her coldness, my anxiety, the way I flinched when he touched me. He'd cornered Sarah at a coffee shop, asking if I was okay, if something was wrong. She'd deflected, but he wasn't stupid. That night, he came home quiet, his eyes searching mine. We sat on the couch, the TV droning in the background, the air heavy with unspoken words. "Em," he said, his voice soft but firm. "What's going on? You're not yourself." My mouth went dry, my hands trembling. I wanted to lie, to say it was work stress, but his gaze pinned me. The truth clawed its way out. "I cheated on you," I blurted, tears spilling. 6 months ago with James, I'm so sorry." The words hung there, ugly and raw. Liam's face crumpled, his eyes glassy. He didn't yell, didn't curse, just sat there, silent, as I sobbed, explaining the fight, the party, my regret. "It was one night," I said, "and I've hated myself since." He stood, grabbing his jacket. "I need space," he muttered, and left. The door's click echoed in my ears. I sank to the floor, the apartment too quiet, the scent of his cologne still lingering. Sarah texted later, saying Liam was at a friend's, devastated. She hadn't told him. He'd figured it out from my behavior. The realization hit like a wave. My silence hadn't protected him. It had hurt him more. I'm alone now, staring at the life we built, wondering if I'm the asshole for both the cheating and the cowardice. The days after Liam left were a haze. Our apartment felt like a museum of us, his sketchbooks on the coffee table, my plants wilting in the corner. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, the silence deafening without his laugh. I kept replaying his face, the way it shattered when I confessed. I'd wanted to protect him, to keep our love intact, but all I'd done was build a house of lies that collapsed on us both. I called him, left voicemails that went unanswered, my voice cracking as I begged for a chance to explain. "I love you," I said to his voicemail. "I'm so sorry." But the words felt hollow, like they couldn't reach him anymore. Sarah came over, her face a mix of pity and frustration. We sat on my couch, the same one where Liam and I used to cuddle, the fabric still smelling faintly of his aftershave. "You should have told him sooner," she said, her voice gentle, but firm. I nodded, tears falling. "I thought I could fix it," I whispered. She hugged me, but it felt like a goodbye. Our friendship was fraying, another casualty of my choices. At work, I requested a transfer to another team, unable to face James. He'd kept his promise not to talk, but his presence was a reminder of my failure. The office's fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, a constant hum of my shame. Therapy became my lifeline. My therapist pushed me to confront why I'd cheated, Not just the fight with Liam, but the deeper insecurities, the need for validation that James exploited. I journaled furiously, pages filled with questions. Why did I let myself fall? Was I punishing Liam or myself? I started seeing the affair not as a one-off mistake, but a symptom of my own brokenness. I'd felt invisible during our rough patch, and James's attention was a mirror, reflecting a version of me I wanted to be, desired, capable, enough. But it was a lie, and I'd traded my integrity for it. Weeks passed, and Liam finally texted, "We need to talk." We met at a park, the air crisp, leaves crunching underfoot. He looked tired, his eyes shadowed, but still so painfully familiar. "I can't trust you," he said, his voice steady but raw. "I loved you, Em, but it's too much." I nodded, choking back sobs, knowing he was right. I apologized again, told him I'd been in therapy, trying to understand myself. He listened, his jaw tight, then said, "I hope you find peace, but it can't be with me." He walked away, and I stood there, the wind stinging my face, feeling like I'd lost a piece of my soul. I'm still picking up the pieces. I got the transfer at work, a fresh start, but the guilt follows me. I see Liam smile in strangers, hear his laugh in crowded cafes. I'm learning to live with myself. But it's hard. Therapy helps. But some nights, I lie awake. The cities hum outside my window, wondering if I'm irredeemable. I cheated because I was hurting, but that doesn't justify it. I hid it because I loved him, but that only hurt him more. Maybe I'm the asshole for both, for the betrayal and the cowardice, or maybe I'm just human, flawed and fumbling, trying to claw my way back to something good. So, AITA. For cheating when we were at our lowest? For keeping it secret, thinking I could save us? Or for hoping even now that I can be better than the worst thing I've done? I don't know anymore. I just know I loved him, and I broke us. I'm trying to forgive myself, but it's a long road, and I'm not sure I deserve to get there. What do you think? If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more real-life drama straight from Reddit. Got a take on the situation? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We love hearing from you.